As pretty much everybody expected, some of the lawyers for Capitol Riot defendants have now started to use Tucker Carlson's selectively edited footage of the events of January 6th to try to argue not just that their clients are innocent, but some of them this past weekend went as far as filing motions to dismiss the cases against their Capitol rioting clients, arguing that Tucker Carlson's footage has somehow exonerated them. Now, on Sunday, in one particular case, prosecutors did fire back, basically saying this is the dumbest thing we've ever heard. But here is what's happening, and it's actually happening quite a bit right now with the so-called Proud Boys folks that are awaiting trial. Their lawyers were the ones who tried to get it dismissed by arguing that recent footage of the so-called QAnon shaman, Jacob Chanley, who, by the way, did plead guilty and was sentenced to 41 months, but they said video of Chanley walking around not rioting at the time shows that clearly he was innocent, so all these other folks are innocent, so you got to dismiss the cases. Now, the judge has not officially, as of right this second, ruled on whether or not he's going to dismiss the case. I have to imagine that no judge listening to that argument would dismiss the case based on those standards. In fact, that argument is actually so stupid, I'm almost shocked that the lawyers even made it in court. Here's why. Say, let's take a hypothetical here. Let's assume you're a defense attorney and your client has been accused of murdering 3 people. And you have video footage of your client at birthday parties, eating cake and singing happy birthday. You've got pictures of them on vacation at the beach with their family. They're happy. They're not murdering anybody in the footage. So clearly my client can't be a murderer because they're not murdering in every video you see of them. That is the same argument that these lawyers for these accused Capitol rioters just made. Like, well, because there's footage of them not Capitol rioting, clearly the other evidence that shows them rioting is just, you gotta throw that out. Because look, here's one, he went into a bathroom to relieve himself. That's not illegal. Now, the problem here, and I love this because, again, I have sympathy to a degree for these lawyers for the so-called Capitol rioters. You can't call them that unless they've been convicted, by the way. But they don't have much to work with, so they're grasping at straws. So you've got the one argument that I already talked about, but here's the other thing that I think they've forgotten about by pointing to the footage that Tucker Carlson has. You see, their very presence in the building is criminal. It's illegal for them to be in that building. It was illegal for them to be inside of the building that day. That is trespassing on federal property. Even that is something you can be prosecuted for. So how can you point to this footage and say, okay, well, they're not, macing police officers in this footage, so clearly you got to let them go. No, you actually don't. If anything, you can end up charging more people that you didn't know were in the building because you didn't have footage of them because of what Tucker Carlson has released. Excuse me. That was a little tough to get out. But you see what I'm saying? Like, being in the building that day was what was illegal. All of the other things they did, depending on the severity of the Capitol rioter, are what led to different charges. But plenty of people were charged for simply being in that building. So arguing in any way that Tucker Carlson's footage exonerates anybody, that's stupid because if anything, it implicates more people. And as I said over at Ring of Fire a couple days ago, I hope the DOJ flips this on its head and uses that footage that Carlson has released to charge more people with trespassing on federal property. That's what I want them to do. I want this to backfire on Tucker Carlson so spectacularly by sending more of these people to jail for trespassing on federal property. And I hope that if they do that, when they arrest them, they let them know that this is because of Tucker Carlson's footage. That is what should happen. But in the meantime, like I said, the judge has not yet ruled on whether or not he's going to dismiss this specific case, but I have to imagine it's not going to work out so well especially considering the fact that just because you're not rioting in one piece of footage doesn't mean that all of the other evidence against you suddenly doesn't matter. That's a dumb argument for any lawyer to make.
Hi everyone, this here is Little Athena, and Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet, so please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.